You know, the Garmin family of products that you can put on your boat, put on your wrist for sports, take out in the field hunting, training, whatever it may be, is world class. They've got a team of engineers that is above all. I mean, I'm just so impressed and blown away by what they can build. But when I look at my boat, primarily, I mean, it starts with my trolling motor right here behind me. It's easy to use. It's connected to everything on my boat electronically so that I can update it if they've got questions or changes that have come out. Then as I break it down even further, my mapping, it allows me to all the detail that I need on any body of water, whether it's a new one or a body of water that I've been fishing for years. I can adjust my water levels. I can adjust the detail. I can get 3D looks at it. I mean, everything in the mapping is world class. You look at all the different sonar models, whether you're trying to look out to the side of your boat, you're trying to look through a traditional model, you're trying to look at it from a clear aspect. You can use all kinds of different combos to be able to set your units up how you want, whether you're a guy that likes one big 16-inch unit or you're a guy that likes a pair of units. All of that data is just right there, and you can set it up so easily at the touch of a button for your own personal usage. And then as you take that further and break it down into the different LiveScope aspects, I mean, now you're able to identify individual targets, what's under your boat, what's not in the area at a moment's notice. It's all live feedback. That may be all crappie. Look at all of them. Garmin LiveScope, basically, it tells me what's happening live under my boat at that time, or in front of my boat, or wherever I have my transducer pointed. That's the unique aspect when you start talking about LiveScope. It basically allows me to identify everything that's going on. And I've always used this analogy of there's an eagle sitting up on a tree. If you ever watch an eagle sitting on a tree, his head's constantly moving. He's looking for things. He's looking for targets to eat. He's looking for threats. He's trying to identify everything. That's what you're doing with a LiveScope transducer attached to your trolling motor. You're scanning around, you're looking for targets, you're looking for fish, you're looking for your bait, you're looking for drop-offs, you're looking for rocks, brush piles, anything that's out there. It's going to show up on your screen. It's going to allow you to be able to determine, is that a target I want to throw to? What bait do I want to throw to? And then even more than that, it's going to tell you how the fish react. And as you learn how fish react to your bait or not react to your bait, it's going to help you present different baits to be more successful in catching them.
This feels right.
Got him. I was just sitting there watching him. This feels big. He's out. And, oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, that was amazing. Woo-hoo-hoo, that's a nice one, isn't it?
Way to go, Clark. Way to go.
Oh, that's a big fish.
That's a big one.
That's a monster.
Garmin's LiveScope will help make you a better angler simply by being able to identify things that are in that area and how they're reacting. I've been on bodies of water where there's been so many returns of fish around me that I was like, surely I'm going to catch them here. But what I learned was those weren't bass. And through LiveScope and how they reacted to my baits, how they reacted to presentations, how they related to structure and cover, it made me a better angler to understand at this time of the year those returns that I've gotten in the past on my traditional sonar weren't bass. They were another species. Now as I look at it further, I can pull into an area and I can quickly identify that something's there or something's not. And then I can begin to choose baits to see how they react to it. And what you'll find, honestly, there's a lot more fish out there that just simply don't bite. And we've got to figure out that magic recipe to be able to make those fish bite. Sit there and watch you swim around and come back over there and eat it. I mean, we're literally drop shotting now in about 20 to 40 foot of water over these trees. And you can see these trees as we go along, and you'll see the fish just kind of swim around at different angles, and every now and then we get, you know, one to bite it. And it's total vertical fishing with the Garmin LiveScope. I've always believed there's no magic sauce when it comes to setting up my LiveScope transducer. And by that, I mean, I've gotten emails, people at the boat ramp, text messages, talk to me at the boat show. How do I set up my Garmin? What are the best settings? Obviously, you should know. You've worked with Garmin forever. Well, what I found in talking to the engineers, working with them when we've set up my boats for different field testing situations, and my own personal experience, which is a lot of hours on the water. You got to really set it up best for where you're fishing and how you are going to fish. I like a grid. Some people don't like a grid on there. Some people like one color, I like a different color. Some people may run their gain in the 60s, I like to run my gain in the 70s. Some people zoom in, some people zoom out. Some people turn certain things on, some people turn certain things off. The reality is how that unit comes exactly out of the box is good enough for most people in the world. I like to tweak a few things while I'm on the water. I think it benefits me in the usage that I like to do with it. And if I ever feel like I've got it totally out of whack and it's not doing what I need it to do, I can just hit restore sonar defaults. That's gonna go right back to how I got it out of the box, and then I can tweak it however I need it. And at the end of the day, I always tell people, don't be afraid to touch the buttons on this thing. Don't be afraid to adjust it. If you run into a problem, the Garmin support team is phenomenal. They're going to help you out, and restore sonar defaults is always going to be your friend to get it back to just as good as it was when you started. That's one big fish down there.
Yeah, it is.
Uh-oh. Speaking of that,
You can see him coming up. It's a pretty good one. Whatever you caught, you could watch it coming up.
yeah, I hope it's crappie.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
'Cause that was a big line coming up. If that's a crappie, it's a 2.5 pound. Holy cow, look at the size of that thing. Holy cow, Jim, that's a giant.
Wow.
That's a good one. Garmin's LiveScope is not just for a bass fisher. This is a multi-species unit here that defines so much and gives so much feedback to everybody. Whether you're crappie fishing through the ice, bluegill fishing through the ice, walleye fishing through the ice, fishing for walleye out of a boat on grass lines, whether you're looking for redfish, tarpon, bass, I mean, catfish, whatever it may be, Garmin's LiveScope is going to be able to help you identify the targets, identify the fish, identify the bait fish, identify the depths that the fish are in, and how they respond and react to your bait and your presentation. The full lineup of Garmin products is top notch. I mean, when you look at the engineering team up there, the commitment to what they build, the feedback that they get from anglers of all species to be able to help them put all that into, you know, the boxes that we use on the water, it's amazing. You know, our trolling motors are basically indestructible out there. Our Garmin units, whether it's on a kayak or an offshore boat, they're designed to be able to respond at a moment's touch for people no matter what they're looking. Whether you're just trying to determine how deep the water is or you're trying to figure out the species of fish that's around you and how to make them bite, Garmin just has a product line that it's second to none in my opinion.